So, this is an interesting one because Becca wanted me to interview you, and it's been a long time coming. It's been something we've been talking about doing for a while. I don't know how excited you are about it, but I want to start with a quote from Howard Schultz, the I guess he's not technically the founder of Starbucks, but the was the CEO of Starbucks, and it's success is best when it's shared. And I thought it was a really fitting way to start. So I want to get your thoughts on that.
Well, I 1000% agree. I think that building, creating, um, just like watching you, I'm gonna say your success because that's kind of what it's been, your career and then maximum lawyer. So not only are you an amazing attorney and being with you through that journey, I think we've built a life together. So we're enjoying everything about it. And I love watching you grow. I myself have grown in the process. So I just think it's been beautiful. I love that quote.
Yeah, thanks. Really good. So there's a few things there I want to touch on. So the growth I definitely want to get to because I think in our marriage we've had a ton of growth,
Hmm.
quite a bit. Like and individually we've grown as well, but
Yeah.
I want to hold off on that though. You had made the comment about like my success, and I know that
Yeah.
you talk about that a lot, and I view it as our success
Sure.
because it is something we're doing together. But you were very good at journalism. I mean, and you went to the J school at Mizzou, and so you have a journalism degree, and
Right.
you went to school and you wanted to. That's what you wanted to do. And I wonder like as our marriage has progressed, as your career has progressed with the
Sure.
firm, I wonder if you ever think about whether or not if that's something you would have rather have done.
No. 1,000% no.
Okay.
I think a lot of people go to school and they think that they might want to do one thing and then they're going to turn around and want to try something else. And I think the whole point of living and experiencing is trial and error. And that was one thing that there were things that like fueled me during the day, like the hard deadlines. Like I was just getting through it. And I think it helped me grow as an independent person. I mean, we weren't married at the time and I was much younger, and I think I needed that. Talking to people, the communication side of it, I loved it. I did love that. But I can apply that to any aspect of my life. And I don't regret going. I loved it. Being on camera is not my favorite. That was probably one of the things that stressed me out the most. But talking to people, stories, like I love that everybody has a story. So, but you know, when you're on an assignment and you're getting news, I think that's I don't want to get into it, but like with media, it's very targeted, and most of the time you're not getting everyone's thoughts and feelings. And some people don't like to talk to you, and you almost feel like you're missing out on that part. So I don't know. It is what it is, and it ended up the way that I think it was supposed to. And I only say your success, yours, because everything that we do, that's kind of the foundation for it. I've had so much to do with it, and I've helped it grow. Don't get me wrong. I know what I've contributed, but I also know that this is more this is kind of like where you've led us, and I love the fact that you've led us here.
So I'm glad you said that because I sometimes I question whether or not you know how much of a role you play.
Absolutely, I do.
See, I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Is there anything about your career that you would have gone back and be like, I wish I wouldn't have done that, or maybe anything you would have changed about
No regrets. Like, no. No, I don't think so. Um, I've always been pretty vocal about, like, if I feel like I'm capable of something, I can do it. I can get it done. Um, I think there have been maybe some hires that we've made where maybe I don't know, but those are learning moments. So I think even the failures, like we have to have them and we have to learn from them. So no, I would say there's nothing that I regret. I think on our personal note, even like as you said, like our marriage has grown, I think it's done it at maybe the right pace,
Yeah,
and maybe we hit that what is it like when you get those wins, the
that's right.
tailwinds?
Yeah, yeah.
I think it came at the right moment.
Yeah, so you made a comment last week or so about I won't get it right the way you said it, but basically we've hit our stride. And I think that that was how we were like like stronger than ever kind of a thing, and like I thought it was kind of a cool thing. What do you think has led to that?
Trust. I just think that whenever you're around, when you're around someone long enough, um, and you just have to, I don't know, like what is it like trust fall? I think I use trust fall. You really have to rely on that person, and then after so long, and some people can get in their heads about things. We do have struggles just like everybody else does. I mean, the bills have to get paid, kids have to get places. We're married, we're not like single. We can't just do whatever we want to do without the other person not knowing. So, I think just years of understanding and communicating and trusting has a lot to do with that.
I think I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but I think right around the time we did 75 hard, I feel like it was a massive turning point for us where we had, and I don't know what it was, and I don't know why, but I feel like there was a massive amount of growth after that point.
Hmm.
That, and maybe you see it differently, but I definitely think that at that point there was a mass when we turned that corner and we did that. Uh, there was something about it just kind of like it kind of took off.
Yeah. Whenever I feel like whenever you're in a situation where, and we did it, like there was no compromising for 75 hard. There were days where at 11:30, 12 o'clock, I was having to get my butt like out of bed. Like I had just laid down and I was like, dang it, I didn't take my picture before I fell. And you're not supposed to fall asleep.
Yeah.
And I knew I didn't want to have to go back and do that. And it would just be like, Amy, get up and take the photo. So, it we had to rely on each other a lot
Yeah.
and motivate each other. And I know you say like you can't really motivate someone, but I
Well, I don't say that. The you what say is that you're responsible for your own happiness is what but you
you've actually used the phrase you can't motivate someone.
I disagree because I do think you can motivate someone,
Okay.
but
I agree.
good. But I do think that I mean they have to want to be motivated too, though. There's that too.
Yeah, absolutely. But a lot of people, there's different personality types, and some people actually need someone to be like, get the fuck out of bed.
Yeah.
Oops.
Well, you can
Yeah.
cuss. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. They do. I mean, kind of like basic training, I guess. Kind of go back to that.
Yeah.
They're, but it's like you got to have that. Plus, you got to have the desire to do it,
Sure.
because otherwise, it's just you're just going to go through the motions. And
Right.
I mean, I think that I think there's a way you could do 75 hard where it's kind of like a lazy way, kind of. Although this is really, there's really no, but I do think you could have we could have taken like the easy path. We didn't. We didn't modify the rules. We didn't like it. So there was like, we had to kind of stick to it. But I think the more important thing you talked about was like working it. We had to kind of work it as a team. I don't know if I could have done it by myself. I really don't. It really did take
You could have.
that. I don't know.
You've done a great job staying vegan for how long have you been vegan?
It's 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've done a great job.
You've kind of shifted into the vegetarian.
Yeah. Well, also 41-year-old woman. There's a lot of other things too. So I know you said like 75 hard was a great journey for both of us. I agree with that. But then you turn around and you stop doing 2 45-minute workouts a day, watching every single thing that you eat, no cheating,
No
cheat
desserts.
meals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No late meals, no late night snacks.
Right.
Yeah.
So everything that we had there, if you don't continue that, things kind of start to slowly regress. And then you are looking at maybe like where you were before, but mentally that you are capable of doing it again. And I love that I have that, but that also helped me get to my next thing that I had to kind of do on my own, but also you were like very encouraging. Um, so I don't know if like we want to get into all of that, but
We get into whatever you want to get into.
okay. Well, I'm just saying, like, it's not just 75 hard. There's always going to be a new struggle that you have to overcome. And you're right. It's about having the motivation yourself to do what needs to be done
Yeah.
to make that change. And I know that I have it within me. I've done it and I want to keep doing it. So I think that's what helps too.
I think what you touched on, I think, is really important because you can do what 75 Hurt teaches you is that you can do a lot more in your day than what you think you can.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a matter of just focusing on the right things.
Yeah. And do you want to all the time? No.
No.
I want to just like rot in bed and watch TV with you or, have fun. But we know that we can if we want to.
Now, Monday was a travel day, but like we kind of did that. We just kind of like laid around all day and hung out, and it was
our first day in New York.
Yeah.
Didn't leave the room.
It helped that it was pouring like crazy. It was
gross.
like the subway was flooded and all that kind of stuff. So that was it did help with that. But it's like sometimes you just need those days.
Yeah.
That's so let's talk about when you joined the firm though. Let's go back to the beginning. What was that like at the beginning for you?
I don't think it was okay. It's far different than it is now, but it wasn't different than what I was doing before.
Mm-hmm.
So I commuted a couple of days a week to St. Louis, and I use this term a lot for myself, like the lone wolf. I was the only one that was in there, like with marketing. You were busy. The rest of the team had their jobs. No one else, I didn't really communicate with anyone else. It was just get in there, get the job done, get our name out there. And again, a lot of trial and error, but so there were some days where I was beating myself up. I didn't feel like I was good enough. And then as the numbers started to kind of come in, I was like, I'm good at this. Like, I'm okay at this. And then a lot of the other attorneys that were in Maximum Lawyer, just friends that you knew, asking questions about how are we getting, on the first page of Google, and they were struggling, and it was just, I don't know, it was good. Like I felt okay. And then I started earning my place and kind of grew from there. But I guess you're just asking about starting, so
yeah, I just like how the transition was for you. So
it was good.
I do remember early days. We were there was like a I wouldn't call it a power struggle between the two, but there was kind of it was some adjustment period, and I don't know if you remember that much.
While I was just doing marketing? Well, maybe it's because, okay, so I like to ask a lot of questions. I don't, like whenever it's like, follow these instructions, do this, then this, then this. And like sometimes I like to find my own way, but I need to know like where to start. And I think that you give instruction different than I take and I process. So sure. I think maybe that's where it came in, but I know you and I want to respect you, so I do my best to just.
Well, it did seem like we butted heads quite a bit at the beginning.
I think we just butt heads anyway.
Yeah. I don't agree. I don't agree with that necessarily. Okay. But it did seem like at the beginning we butted heads more, and the way I remember it was that you didn't necessarily like to take instruction from me at all. You wanted to kind of do your own thing.
It's the way that you approach.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Critique me. How could I do? Have I done better? I guess will I start?
I feel like now you just stay away from me, like, or just avoid.
It's not true.
Okay. I think it's better now. When you talk to other people, I think it's just who I am to you. I don't think it's gonna change. I don't want to give you I don't know how to give you feedback.
Let me ask you another way. How do you like to get feedback?
Um,
Because it's a way I can improve and make it better.
I think it's just it's clear, but there's some understanding or something behind it. I don't know how to explain it, but it's not like Amy when you know like I don't know, like it's like
Am I too
that's
direct?
um but I like direct. I just think that there's like some attitude behind it, like almost like you know better than this, or there's something.
They're
It's the tone.
it's
It's the
what it
tone.
might be is I have high expectations for you, and maybe what it is because
Sure.
yeah, and I don't know, maybe what it is. I do think it's funny because people like they'll ask me about like our working relationship, and I tell them how like I talk to you like I do any other employee, and they find that
No,
hard to believe. Uh,
because it's not true.
well, it's probably not true because I'm harder on you than anybody else. And that I think that's a fair critique of me is that I am a little harder on you.
Mhm.
Um,
Kristen, can you call in?
if Kristen called in right now, there have been several leadership meetings where everyone else has just been kind of watching us as we've have our heated discussion about things.
Yeah.
But I think it's healthy. It's better than
I
bottling
think
it
any
up.
partners or anybody that's in a business together with multiple goals is going to have that. I just think that it shows passion, the need for I'm not going to say that, you like perfection at all. I think that there's a degree of that maybe, but we both have the same goal in mind. So,
Well, I've always said there's no better partner that you can have in your firm or any business than your partner, than your spouse. Like you just
I
know.
would believe that as long as you're good partners.
Yeah. Well, okay. So that's a good topic to get into is that like how the marriage can affect the firm and the firm can affect the marriage. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure.
Okay. Thoughts?
Okay. Let's see. Where do we start? How the marriage can leak into the firm?
Yeah. Well, let me guide you a little bit more.
Okay.
Um, Separating, and I don't think it's possible to separate work from business, but I think we can create some buffers because we had one of the big, I wouldn't call it disagreements. One of the big issues we had was talking about work in bed.
Oh yeah.
That was a big one, which it still kind of
Because you
happens.
switch off and on all the time. It's like, okay, so if we want to get from A to B, we're going to have to work this many hours. That means date nights, in bed, we'll order food, we'll grind it out, like
That was
working.
one time I ever mentioned that
You're like for the next 6
for,
months. So
for
that
like
doesn't mean for like 2 days.
for like 2 years ago. It was like 2 years ago I mentioned that, but
Okay.
but I'm
But also you've said you enjoy working.
I
You
do.
don't enjoy talking about working.
Well, so what I don't enjoy is I'm about to fall asleep, and you ask me a question
Okay.
about an email that you got earlier in the day. That's where, but this is I think this is a part of it too is like knowing the dividing lines, right? Where um, I guess respecting the other one's boundaries in a certain way. Because I think you
Sure.
were okay with just like discussing work in bed and just up till like
Yeah, because I was
midnight.
trying to get to, I'm trying to get us there. I'm trying to do what I can and pull my weight.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was the only time of the day that we could like talk about it. Because yeah, we work together, but this is another thing that I don't think a lot of people understand. I am rarely with you. I'm rarely with you, and I rarely talk to you.
We're around each other, but not. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Nope. You're either recording or you're in court or, getting things done. And I'm not like right next to you.
Now, do you think that that's a positive or a negative or indifferent?
It's positive, I
Yeah.
think. I mean, you don't want me on your back all the time. I'm not like the office pet. Like I'm
Yeah.
there doing shit. And so are you. And we have to get our things done. What I do love is if we have breaks and we can play around and we can, talk and maybe have lunch on occasion. That's something else that we don't do a whole lot, but
Yeah.
when we do, we enjoy it.
Yeah. Like
So,
last week, the office was closed on Thursday. So I think on Wednesday we went to lunch together, or
Yeah.
maybe we went on Thursday. I don't know, but yeah, we do try to find that time. Like, and we have. Well, let me just ask you, like, what are some other things that you think we do that helps, I guess, keep the communication flowing, but keeps the marriage strong? Oh, you're smiling at me.
Hmm?
What? you well, I'm talking more like date night things like that. Oh,
Oh, yes, date night.
okay, yes,
Mhm.
okay.
This is perfect.
Okay,
We do like so our weekly, date night, and it's usually set, so it's not like spur of the moment thing. Which me, I kind of like surprises a little
yeah,
bit, like that. But
and
it
we mix in
holds us.
things like that
We
too.
do,
Yeah, yeah,
we do. But this will force us, like, and the kids need routine, so they also know Thursday's date night. Mom and dad are gonna go do whatever, and then we'll be back later. So it just gives us time to like talk and communicate, eat food that maybe our kids don't want to eat, um, drive around. Just I don't know.
yeah. There was it's interesting you say that because a couple weeks ago we had to move date night to Friday because it's usually on Thursdays,
Mhm.
and they're even like, "Well, date night's on Thursday," and we're like, "Well, we're it's like it's kind of like they just know that Thursday's date night, and that's what we're doing." I do remember even back in 2020 when everything got shut down, we made sandwiches and went down by the river.
Yeah,
That was kind of cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ate in the bed of the truck.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, like so, like it is. Like, we started that. I remember someone at the first MaxLawCon had recommended that, where everyone had stood up and they had like gave like one recommendation or something like that, or one tip, and that's where that had initially come from. And so since 2016 or 17, whenever we had the first conference, we've been doing it ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I will say that's another thing. It's not one of those things that's easy to keep up with, too.
What do you
You
mean?
have times like days, whatever, where it's just not, it's just maybe I don't want to do it. Maybe I don't want to. But then you end up you just do it anyway. And you're there, you're in it together. Um Again, I think it's that it trust and communication, and just that gives you a little bit of a window of an opportunity to like talk about whatever's bothering you.
Yeah.
Um yeah.
All right, so let's shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and talk a little bit about, I guess, the future. And I wonder what, if you could achieve one thing with the firm in the next 10 years. And I know that's kind of a big ask, and you could go, 3 to 5 years if you want, but in the next 10 years, if you could achieve one thing, what do you think it would be?
Okay, so I love our team and I love watching them grow. We have people coming in within their first year and they're like getting unsung legal hero awards. I would say that I want everybody on the team to feel successful in some way and to be out in the community. I think empowering them to all do something like that. Uh, I don't know if that's my biggest one, but it's definitely coming to my mind right now. Also, having someone there that can not replace you, but I just think that you do so much for the firm, and uh, you have you wear so many hats. I know I do too, but maybe having someone that's like you that can take over the things that you don't want to do, helping find that person.
I feel like I should be offended by that, but I'm not. I'm just
You
teasing.
shouldn't be. You have like 200 hats that you just flip off and on, and it's amazing watching you do it. I I it gives me anxiety watching you, but you're just so good at it. I don't know how you're so good at it.
Quincy had said something like that last week, and I said it's just because we have a great team, which is I want to shift to because of that, because I do I think we have a fantastic team,
We do.
and that's because of you and Kristen. You and Kristen have put together a fantastic team. You all are the two of you are the ones that vet everyone that comes through, and you've done a really, really remarkable job. So I wonder what, let's start with like some of the things that you look for whenever a candidate comes through, and like what are, let's just start with that because I want to get to like some maybe some of the red flags too. But
Sure.
what are like some of the things you're like, okay, this is someone that we would definitely want to consider.
Um, I don't know. I like to think a little outside of the box because I think if we're looking for a mold of someone, it's a little hard to see things that they might be able to bring to the table.
Yeah,
Like I don't know. I like to think that people are capable of so much more. So, not looking for a cookie cutter mold. Um, but honesty is one thing. People that can communicate well. It's getting really hard to find people that are good at communicating.
very much.
What
Yeah,
the hell is up with that? But Kristen and I look for people that are personable, that can communicate with us. Um, and from there, it's just like, you know, of course, we have that little um, quiz that they have to take and, pass it. They have to, I mean, they have to have a brain, right? So,
yeah,
um, but I think
it's a good
overall,
starting
good
point.
conversation. Yeah, good conversation where they're attentive in our interviews because, we have multiple stages of our interview process and Kristen gets them first. So I feel like by the time that they get to me, she's already like, she has a feeling like, okay, well, this could be good, or I don't know. But I usually get the feel of how she is kind of like, I don't know, how she's thinking the person's gonna do. So I like to go in kind of knowing that. I know you don't, but I do because then I can look for other things. So where it's like the negative, like you're focused on the negative. I want to focus on everything but that to see what else I can
So
find.
I think you think that, but it's because sometimes what I'll do is in the interview, because by the time they've gotten to the last interview, they've been through several steps. And so I'm definitely not focused on the negative, but sometimes I'll zero in on something where I think it could be a massive red flag for us.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to
Pick it.
I'm picking at it.
Yeah.
Like for example, that the interview we did a couple weeks ago where we uncovered something that I think would have been a really bad thing for the firm,
Sure.
or it would have been a really bad candidate for the firm that had not come up yet. And so sometimes what I'll do is I'll kind of pull back the onion a little bit, and I do that by like oddball questions. Like I'll throw some really oddball questions out there to sort of get them comfortable enough to open up even more. And the two of you already asked really good questions that open them up quite a bit.
Hmm.
Um, and like one of the things you will always ask in the last interview is like, or the what makes you a nerd or a weirdo kind of a thing,
Yeah.
which goes back to one of the Max Locons where I talk about nerds and weirdos. Which, um, side note, what are you? Clearly, you're a. Go ahead.
No, you
You're a
say
weirdo.
it.
We know
I'm a
you're a weirdo.
weirdo.
Yeah,
I'm a
absolutely. I think it's
weirdo.
fantastic.
Yeah.
No, but like that's so funny you say because you were talking about like you're looking at those other things like outside the box, and like we've found a lot of very valuable people by doing that and not looking for the cookie cutter.
Yeah. Personality types is another thing that I've like I went down that rabbit hole. I learned a lot. There are a lot of different tests that people can take that, you're looking at different roles in our firm that require different personality types.
Sure.
1,000%. So, and then another thing is moving someone that's been in a role to something else. They still have that same personality type. Maybe they're not going to fit in the other one. So there's a lot of trial and error here, but I think for certain that is something that I look at
Yeah,
all the time.
I thought it really interesting whenever I went back and analyzed all the case manager scores, and like they all had like a certain number within like a 1 or 2 range. It was for the Colby scores.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know that you like, because Carrie did the Enneagram training, which I thought was really
Love
fun.
all of it.
So Carrie did. She's really into all that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
and She did Enneagram. And there's another, I thought she did another one too, but she really dug deep on the Enneagram, which I thought was really fascinating because she understands it so deeply.
She does.
But you,
Didn't she say, I think that she went to like their school, like, or she like
something
learned.
like
She
that.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she really did. And I wonder what's your favorite of the, do you like Colby more? Do you like the Enneagram more?
I like to use them both.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't think that you can just necessarily have one over the other. I think that you have to kind of look at maybe the overall big picture. And here's the thing. If you don't believe that that stuff is like real, then all I say is look at the highs and look at the lows of the personality types, because that is probably what you're going to be dealing with if someone's really struggling, or if you notice that they are doing very well for themselves, and how to like keep them there, what they need to stay there, and then the signs of when things start to decline.
Mhm.
So a lot of people are like, yeah, I don't believe that. I think Kashif is one. He's just like, no, it's not real. You can't just generalize people like that. I'm like, but there's a reason for this, and there's
Kashif
a
is very,
scope.
yeah, he's very black and white. There's no
Sure.
gray area with Kashif. He's
Sure.
he's very ones and zeros. That's we're just fitting for him. He's a CTO, so it's kind of fitting for him.
Sure.
So someone asked me something the other day. I think it might have been Jeremy Danielson. He said, it may not be him. So someone asked me. They go, what did Amy and Kristen, like, how do they feel when you say no to a candidate and they've spent all that time with them? And I was like, it doesn't seem, you all don't show me that you're frustrated. Although there was one candidate fairly recently I thought maybe it was frustrating to you all, but I think it was the one that we kind of pulled back the onion. It seemed like she had some things going on.
No.
Yeah.
There's not been a time, and usually you don't veto someone.
Right.
You don't. You're like, let me think on it, and then we may never get an answer from you, so we just have to act on it. But I mean, you found Kristen.
Yeah.
You found her.
Yeah.
You hired me.
Yeah.
I think you're really good at that. I think whenever you have like a million other things going on, it's hard for you to like focus on it. So you've given that to us, and I think that we've done a good job. However, there's no frustration to be had. You're not spiteful about it. I mean, you have a very good personality. So I don't think that there's ever been a time that Kristen or I have ever been upset.
Yeah, I think and I guess I don't want to
I think we're just like upset at the process, because it's really hard to find good people. That has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. And I won't mention which one it was, but like there are some where like I will just say, hey, I don't know. I'm gonna let you all make the decision on this, because sometimes I just don't have a good read, and and that's why I do sometimes dig in so deep with some of these, and like I'll go in. One of my favorite things to do is go and actually read their resume. Imagine that, and then go and pick at pieces of the resume that they put in there, and sometimes it's very clear that it's bullcrap, right? It's like they've just put it in there because it sounded good, and they didn't really have experience with.
Yeah, is AI making these resumes anymore? Because let me tell you.
Well, I did a show on that recently where like AI is creating them and then also analyzing them, and you're not getting a lot of the realness of it, and that's why I think that our hiring process is so great, because you can't fake that funk. Like you can fake the reason why we have such a detailed hiring process is because when I was at State Farm a long time ago, with that internship program, I was on there with some people that were just seemed like awful people. And I was always wondering, like, how'd they make it through? And when you think about the standard hiring process for most companies, let alone firms, like that's a big company. It was, you apply, you fill out a little bit of information, you do a job interview, and they hire you based on basically a job interview. Because really what
they just want the help. Just please come help us.
And it's like a job interview is just not enough. Like think about, like they can, like you all are analyzing the consistency of what they have told you all after now, 4 interactions at least with them. And that and one of the things that you and Kristen will say, well, let's go back and look at our emails with them and see what they, because you can learn a lot.
Yeah, Kristen's really good at that too.
Yeah.
And she gets in her head so much about it.
Why?
How long did it take them to reply to the email? Like all of this stuff where, me, I'm like from day to day, like doing all this stuff, but like she keeps track of all of that.
Yeah.
How fast are they on it? And I'm like, hopefully we hear back.
And then also the detailed notes, like she'll take on the reference interviews as well, where she'll mention those, and whenever we have our little powwow afterwards, she'll actually or sometimes she'll be like, well, let me go back and look at my notes on this, because she'll have like detailed notes, which is really good too.
Right. Well, it's so like it's not a typical hiring process. So I think a lot of people that are in the market for jobs, and I can't tell you the last time I've interviewed, I can only imagine how hard it would be, but they are coming into this probably applying to multiple places, and then they're like, golly, these people have me jumping through hoops. So half the time I think that they're just trying to find like the references, and then we have them schedule the call.
Yeah.
Right. That's the part that throws a lot of people off. They're like, I gave you the names. Why am I doing this?
Right.
So that could take a while. It's not normal, but if they're motivated, and a lot of people that do the first interview, actually no, so the phone interview with Kristen, and then the first interview, Zoom, Skype, whatever, with Kristen and myself, that's usually when they're like, I think this is where I want to be. So I'm going to do that. So at least that comes after.
Yeah. So a lot of times I hear people say, well, that's just too long. Your process takes too long. I wonder what your thoughts are to that.
I mean, it's either that or hire the wrong person and then have to go down that. I mean, chances are, even if we go through this process, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. We still have people that kind of slide through that probably should not be here. And if we didn't do this, I can only imagine how much higher the turnover would be.
Yeah. What are some of the pet peeves that you have when it comes at the beginning of the hiring process, or I guess maybe even throughout, where you're like, no, not going to work. I wonder
call, no shows.
Oh, definitely that. Yeah.
For sure. The other ones, I get really turned off with how people get on their cameras.
Okay.
So bad.
Let's
like if it is like we didn't take time to think about the background. You could either they're trying to hide something behind them where their face is so far up on the camera, it's like you're looking up or up their nostrils or like something else. We had some weird ones, but that's just something that sticks out. I don't know, maybe that it shouldn't matter so much, but I'm like, would you want a client seeing you like that? Like, take a little bit of time to think about it.
I mean, I think I don't know. I think that it's smart, like the appearance, how you like, but what's interesting to me is like no one dresses up anymore.
No, they do.
Oh, okay.
They do. Actually, our newest hire, your new executive assistant, every interview she did.
Yeah.
I was like, girl, like, let your neck breathe. But she felt good. I mean, she got on there and that's how she wanted to dress. I think, what was that saying? Like, dress for the job you want, not the job you have. And I'm like over here in my sweats and stuff. I'm like, I got the job I want. But like for that, like it's still true for that younger generation. And I also like to feel good in clothes. Don't get me wrong. Like if I was interviewing, I would know how to dress. And some people, t-shirt, shorts for an executive assistant position or anything for a law firm. I still think that you should try.
Yeah.
I mean, we like to be comfortable, but we're wanting to make a good impression and show how much we can dress ourselves up if we had to appear or do something like that. Like there's a time and place for being casual, and usually an interview to get a job is not one.
Something about that position makes people want to go to law school.
It's working under you. I mean, it's really like, I think some people, they're like, okay, law, let me take that position, just see how it goes. And then a couple months later, it's like getting pregnant. It's like, you work around you, and but no, like they just want more, and they see how much fun it is, and maybe not stereotypical of what maybe they see on TV. You make it look like it's a life, like a lifestyle
Yeah.
that is attainable.
If our new one goes to law school, I'm gonna lose my mind. I just that's it would be three in a row.
You know, she just had a baby, so
Well,
I don't know.
we'll see. I know that we're hopefully she's like because the last two have been fantastic, and we just
You know.
hopefully like hated losing both of them. And Jacqueline, she stayed with the firm as an intern,
Mhm.
and then Morgan, I'm sure at some point she'll stay with the firm as an intern or come back to the firm as an intern. Although I told Jacqueline not to work her first year, but she did it anyways.
Yeah.
So I would not recommend it. But anyways, I want to. So we transitioned. Like this is we're gonna stay on hiring for a second. Like we did the whole top grading thing, and
Mhm.
we completely changed the dynamic of our firm. And I wonder what do you think was like if there was like one thing to point to, like what changed the culture the most? Because I feel like our culture is so fantastic. At the time, I wasn't so happy with the culture. So I wonder what your thoughts are. Like how like what was like what's like the one thing you think you could point to that led to such a fantastic culture that we have?
Hmm. Um, it's gonna sound bad because I mean, I've worked a little bit of background. So I have not always worked for you. I've worked for other people. So working for ourselves, there's that thought that, if you own a business, run a business, you are in it for yourself. And when you're working for someone else, you're trying to support yourself, but you know that you're growing their business. So coming from that and now being where I am, I don't want people to feel like they're working for us, that they're working for themselves. Like that you have to grow yourself into the person that you want to be, whether you stay here or you do not. We want what's best for you.
It's one of our core values.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think some people that we had here before truly didn't they might have said that that's what they believed in, but in their core, I do not believe that.
Their actions didn't back up what they said.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if I can point to something, I'm going to tell you, I just think it's disingenuous people that say that they are, that they're in it for all of the good things, that they do meet our core values, but actually they do not. So I actually look at those all the time, and it's really hard when we do our quarterly meetings, and I go through each one, and I'm trying to identify, like, okay, well, this person can be all of them. This person is definitely like 3, hardcore. Like I try to see everyone meeting them. In some quarters it's easier than others.
Yeah.
And so that just goes to show you that, not everything's always going to be perfect, and sometimes we really do have to work and try hard. But for some people, it was just like maybe 1 out of the 6.
Yeah, I look to the start, stop, keep, where
Mhm.
like how different it is than what it was back then.
Sure, yeah.
There were so many stop doings back then, and now it's like for those of the people that don't know, like we go through this with a quarterly meeting. Every single quarterly meeting is well, like, these are the things we should start doing. These are the things we should stop doing. These are the things we should keep doing.
Mhm.
And a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, like the stop doing list was so long. We didn't have any. Like if we had, maybe we had one, but I forced it because like I made.
You're like, I'm going to call on you.
It's like give me one, like give me something to work on, and it was actually a start doing that they just worded it differently to make it a stop doing. So, like, what are your thoughts? Because I thought that was a really good indication that the culture is still strong.
Yeah, I didn't want to attribute it to anything really negative except for the fact that, we were a growing firm. there's again, trial and error. You got to let yourself just kind of like have room for trying things and then maybe just stopping them. Like maybe we shouldn't keep doing that. So, depending on which ones you were talking about stopping, I do see our list has decreased, but I'm only going to say that that's just because we have been so open to trying things, you know, uh, making people happy. We want to include everyone's thoughts, very open to constructive feedback, ideas, anything that they have. We want to make sure that we try it. So, you know,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking maybe stop certain little things that we had tried, but only in like, we just wanted everybody to be happy.
Yeah. I want to transition and I want to talk about, I'm going to use the phrase, the quote unquote, the boss's wife and something.
Mrs. Mutrix.
Mrs. Mutrix. Yes, we talked about that recently. But I do find it interesting that you've been able to position yourself in a way where you're not the boss's wife, right? You are the COO. And wonder how, talk about how you were able to do that because that's not an easy thing to do.
Did I? Have I?
100%.
Have I?
100%. Yeah.
I don't know.
100%.
It's funny because even whenever I talk to clients, it's really hard to say or hard not to say that I'm Tyson's wife.
I rarely ever will mention that you're my wife. Like they'll say, I'll just say Amy. I'll say, yeah, I won't say my wife. I won't mention you as my wife. Cause I do think it does take away a little bit, in a way. And it depends.
No, I think there is a stigma. Like, okay, so why is she there then? Just because she's your wife? You're the lawyer. She a lawyer? No.
Right.
Why is she there?
Yeah. So, and
that's okay. I mean, I think it's common. Once you talk to me, I think that's why it changes because people hear me. They talk to me. It's same for Maximum Lawyer though. That's Tyson's wife. I'm not a lawyer. I don't actually belong in this group. I just come for the free food.
That's not true. You do a great job of helping.
I get it. Yeah. No, I do. And I love the people here. I almost do this. I think I do this all the time, like high school, college, like your groups of friends then become my groups of friends.
It's true.
Like I will steal your friends, Mindy, like anybody. I will steal them away. Because I do think that you have a great group of people. So when we're here and when we're talking, I might not have a whole lot to contribute to some of those conversations. However, we have a good time. And I think that's what it's about. Like uplifting people. That part I can do. I can do all of that. I might not be able to tell you what you need to do, but I can't even do that with our lawyers and the firm because I'm not a lawyer.
No, but you can. You've done a really good job of navigating that though, and I think part of it comes down to hiring too, where we're not hiring assholes,
Mm-hmm.
But you've done a good job of navigating there is like whenever, the firm I worked for before, there was definitely different levels. The attorneys were at a higher level. And by what I mean by that is like, they were viewed as above, not just like from like a working relationship, like they were just viewed as like a higher class almost.
Sure.
And I hated that. And
yeah, because some of them could just be garbage humans.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting there like trying to look up to them.
Yeah, but you've done a good job of navigating that where
Mm-hmm.
you're very respectful, but also like you're their boss too. And you've been able to navigate that. So I wonder how you've been able to navigate that.
Easy. Because I think the idea of a boss, okay, if someone needs to be, I don't know, let go or we need to have a tough conversation, I mean, I'll have that. But I would have conversations with anyone. So I don't view myself as like being the person, like a boss. I guess I just don't view myself as that. I am their peer and I'm working with them and we are working together to achieve something. So I've had bosses in the past that like to, it's like the foot down or I'm coming to the building to check things out.
Mm-hmm.
What is that, like ruling by fear? Like, that is shit. Like, that's not how we work here.
No.
And in fact, like, we've had clients or opposing counsel um call in and get at our people to try to put them what in a I'm sorry. I need this person to be productive for a full day, and if you're going to come in here and mess with them, it's a no.
Yeah.
It's a no for me every time. And so I think having my people's back, like, I want to be that person. I don't want anyone to be afraid of me. I actually probably do need to work on ways that I can set more expectations for them. Of course, I want them to grow. They know that. But maybe there's more growth that I can do on myself. I know that.
Well, you don't have to rule by fear as long as you have like that open environment. You have accountability. You're using the job scorecards and the KPIs, and everyone's kind of focusing on everything. That is because everyone knows what the game is. Everyone that I think that's part of it, is like being open and honest about things. Then you don't have to rule by fear, because that it's not going to do any good, because
No.
they already know whether or not they're achieving what they're supposed to be achieving or not, because you've been talking about it already.
Sure.
So you're not just like dropping the hammer, which I do find interesting. Is like if the people that call in and act that way, if they knew like behind the scenes, like we're just kind of like whatever, like or what I also find it interesting is like you call them out on it and they immediately apologize. Well, no, you need to call them back and apologize to them.
Yeah. No. You didn't just yell at me for 30 minutes. You yelled at,
Yeah. Tell them I'm sorry.
else.
No. You're gonna call them and tell them that you're sorry.
I know,
Like,
right? But then, like, is that ruling my fear? Like,
I don't care. We had I can't remember. I obviously can't mention the client's name, but I can't remember who it was.
I'm just like, I just want to let you know. I want to express that I don't feel like what you did was appropriate.
Yeah.
That's not how we talk to our people here. So I'm not going to go make them apologize. I'm not a parent. If they want to do the right thing, they're going to do the right thing. I'm going to let them know my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Just like I would anybody. But that's not ruling by fear. And and I don't agree with any context of like ruling by fear.
Yeah. It's interesting sometimes the clients that can be the most difficult, how when you kind of put your foot down, it's almost like they needed that. And then like the one client I'm thinking of off the top of my head, I obviously can't mention his name.
I think I know who you're talking about.
But like he's like one of our biggest advocates now. Like we had to like kind of like had that firm conversation with him, and now he's like he loves us. And sometimes you just kind of have to put your foot down and like stand up for your team, but then also like just stand up to the bully.
Mm-hmm. Well, like the days of Amazon and customer service with Disney and all these people, they're just like, no, if they can raise one complaint, they're getting something going their way. And it's almost like I think it's like a game for people. They're like, let's see how far I can push this, because I want my phone call. I want this. I want that. And I think that they will do it, maybe not because they're unhappy, but just because they want to see what more they can get. And if you let them know that's not this, we're not that. So, I mean, we're working with courts, we're working with opposing counsel. There's multiple parties involved here. This isn't like you get to call me and you get to do this like every time. So, the open conversation with them is humanizing the experience that they're having, so they know there are other people here. We're not robots, we're not computers. Like, we're people.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a great point.
I think letting them know and actually talking about it. A lot of people, they're going to keep going until someone actually says that. And I think so many of us are getting frustrated by being treated that way. And then we just keep getting treated that way instead of saying, hold on, wait. Don't go off of a script. If I called someone else and I started ranting, they're going to go off of a script. I'm sorry, Amy. I'm doing everything that I can here. And unfortunately, it's just very robotic.
Yeah. Something I've noticed about you since we've gotten married, but then also since joining the firm, is you're changing your mindset. And I wonder if like what habits or routines that maybe you've added, or what shifted you were you have much more of a positive mindset, more of a growth mindset. And I wonder what shifted and what's led to that, and if there's anything you do on a regular basis to make sure that you remain positive.
There's probably a lot, but I think growth for people should last a lifetime. I don't think that we should like ever stop. So, each little stage of my mindset growth and remaining positive has to do with, kids getting to a certain age. I mean, I was a very anxious, like early mom. I was what, 28 when we had our first. Which isn't very young, but I guess it's young to people that are having kids now. And so I was just going through all these different stages of my life very early on, and I didn't quite know what to do. We lived in St. Louis. We didn't live around family. Um, and I've never been like a gym person. Like I never found anything for myself. It was just the family and just going day to day, just doing what I needed to do. So I don't want to say it was like mundane, but that's usually what it is, right? You wake up, you eat, you do your work, you pick up the kids, and there's like nothing spontaneous in there. And to get out to see things, adventuring, of course, going with you, Maximum Lawyer, Taekwondo was another thing that gave me a little bit of an outlet, kind of like a gym, but it gave me a goal to work toward, which has been really fun. Also empowering myself, like knowing how well I can do there. Competing was probably an element of it that really sparked that because I was doing pretty good there.
Well, for people that don't know, like you're a black belt in
I'm going
Taekwondo,
for my second degree.
second degree, right? Which is awesome.
Mhm,
And you've competed, you've gotten lots of first place, lots of second place,
mhm.
mostly first place. And
I got a place district, which that's like 3 states that compete together, and I took it for, what was it, for my forms?
you got robbed in the other one.
Well, weapons and sparring.
Yeah.
All of them. And sparring, I mean, that's like physical contact, and I'm a pretty small person,
You're the
so
smallest one out of all of them.
yeah.
Yeah. And like you're dealing with these ladies that have like long legs that you're
7
ducking.
7 feet
Yeah.
tall. Yeah.
Has that helped you with anything when it comes to like leadership, or I mean, clearly your confidence, it's boosted your confidence, but has it helped you with anything when it comes to like just either, dealing with the kids?
Sure, like if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
If I can do it, I know you can do it. So I think that I just see people's potential more, maybe.
Yeah.
And I think that helps the kids, our kids. I'm like,
Yeah. Well, say more about that, the potential part of it. What you see more in it. What do you mean?
if people are open to sharing like things that they want to do or try, or maybe ideas that they've had, you want to like coax that out a little bit more. And you want them to play with it. And instead of putting it back in their pocket and holding on to it, you want them to actually do it. You want them to try it.
Yeah.
And then maybe from there, try something else. If they didn't really like that, try it. Bianca, who is our receptionist now, getting motivated to get back into like weightlifting. What is it called when you go to the gyms and you do all the things? What is
Like
she?
CrossFit?
CrossFit.
Yeah, yeah.
So she's been doing CrossFit and then got her kids into CrossFit.
Yeah.
And she's just feeling so empowered here. So I don't do CrossFit. I don't ever want to do that. But she then got motivated just working around us to start doing it again. And I think that she used to do it, maybe. But like her kids, like involving them. I thought it was beautiful. Because I do ours with the kids. And then once they all like bowed out, I was like, I'm not stopping. I mean, I want to keep doing it, but it was discouraging. I'm like, okay, well, maybe they look at me and like it's not motivating to them, or they don't really look up to me because they don't want to do it and I'm still over here doing it. But guess what? They joined back in and they're doing it again. So it has nothing to do with me. Like their journey doesn't, but if they want to do something and it makes them happy, then I am like, get it.
Well, like their schedules were so insane, and like Emma got her black belt, Jackson got his black belt. So Emma, Jackson stayed with it. Emma just she had to take a
She
break.
wanted a break.
She joined.
It was understandable.
She's doing jujitsu with me, and so she likes that too. But she's doing taekwondo. I mean, she's already a badass. She's gonna be immortal. And then Hudson boomerang back. So, which is
His friend was in the class. I'm not taking
yeah.
any credit there. Yeah, but he just wanted a friend.
Yeah, but he's back at it, so that's
Yeah.
pretty good. But how do you help coax that out of employees though, where you're trying to get them to kind of open up and kind of achieve more?
Okay. It, being interested in their happiness. That's all it is. Carrie, like, does she absolutely love this? Is this her passion job? She's good at it. I think that she loves the people. She loves us, but her passion is cooking. Well, they finally built that pizza oven.
Yeah.
It was just like, I need pictures, girl. Show me the progress. We want to see every step of it, get it there. And now her and her husband have these cool little pizza boxes that they made, personalized ones that they deliver pizzas to her neighbors. So it's like she's able to do something that makes her happy outside of work. And she has people that are cheering her on and want the best. Moving. She wanted to move to, I probably shouldn't say locations, but she moved halfway across the country and is living in her dream place with her pizza oven.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. So I just say, like, communicating. It all boils down to communicating with our people, knowing what they want, what drives them, and encouraging them to keep going.
Yeah, one of the coolest things that I've seen, because since we've been running the firm together, is when she posted about getting the house where they live now, and like how she was so thankful for the firm, how she's able to do it because of the firm, and I was like, it's such a cool thing to be able to see that and kind of see people grow together. It's a pretty awesome. It's gonna make you feel pretty good.
You don't have to find a new job. Like, you don't have to stress and worry about that, because you've created a place where we can work remotely. We can work from anywhere, which means that we can hire the best people no matter where they're located. So I love that. They appreciate that. And it's not like, I live here, I know you're there, but if they want to move or relocate at any point, they can.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm going to end with talking about success.
Okay.
And how do you think, what does success look like to you now versus say like 5 years ago or 10 years ago?
That's a good question. I don't know if it's like changed for me. I think it's always been the same. I think success is a balance of achieving goals and remaining happy at the same time without failing a lot of people around you. Like, there's a lot of things where I don't know. Success is like a big thing.
Yeah.
So, the way that you get there has something to do with it. I know that there are probably successful people that are not happy, or they are hurting other people to get there. And I don't look at that as success. I look at it very differently. And I think doing good for people around you, good for you, your family, and growing something might be slower. It might take a little bit longer, but I think that's true success.
How will you know that you're successful in 5 years?
Because I know I am now.
Well, but if you're going to look at one thing in 5 years, how will you know that you're successful then?
Oh, that's a good question. Not being stoned on the streets, homeless. Yeah, I would say that we're still married.
Well, you don't have to worry about that.
And then I don't know. I don't know how I would rate it. There's like so many things. I would love to say that, the people in our firm are still here. I would say that they're happy. The people that have helped us build what we're building are still happy.
Yeah. Whether
they're with us or somewhere else.
Very good. You made it through. That's it. That's all I got for you.
I survived. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for doing it.